Football fans love certainty. They want simple answers to complicated problems. Definitely or definitely not. Yes or no. Start him or cut him. But the NFL has never worked that way, and it never will. Because behind every quarterback decision there is fear. Money, pressure, ego, and careers that can disappear overnight. And that is exactly why conversations around players like JJ McCarthy, Kyler Murray, and Shedeur Sanders matter so much right now. Let's start with Minnesota, because if you draft a quarterback and then hesitate, you've already failed him. JJ McCarthy didn't light up the league last season. He didn't get enough snaps to silence critics. But development doesn't come from panic, and it doesn't come from bringing in another starter just to make fans feel better. Minnesota already told the truth with their actions when they let every safety net walk out the door. Every veteran option that could have softened the blow, every fallback plan that could have taken pressure off the kid, and once you do that, you don't get to change your mind without destroying the locker room. Quarterbacks don't grow when they're looking over their shoulder. They break. And if McCarthy is going to fail, he needs to fail honestly as the starter, not as a guy who never truly had belief behind him. The uncomfortable reality is that if the system works for everyone except him, and the answer reveals itself, but you don't sabotage the experiment halfway through and pretend you were patient. Then you look at Arizona, and people want to argue talent, effort, maturity, narratives, but none of that changes the real truth, which is that Kyler Murray's situation is as much about business as it is about football. You don't just walk away from that kind of contract without burning the entire roster down with it. And beyond the money, Kyler Murray represents a skill set that simply doesn't grow on trees. You can name quarterbacks who fit systems, but you can't name many who look like him, move like him, and stress defenses the way he does. And when a player has been dragged through multiple coaching regimes, constant resets, and shifting expectations, at some point the question stops being, is he good enough? And becomes, has anyone actually put him in a position to succeed? Maybe the relationship is broken beyond repair. Maybe a change of scenery would unlock something we haven't seen yet. But pretending the solution is simple ignores how careers are actually rebuilt in this league. Then there's Cleveland, where the conversation gets even messier, because Shedeur Sanders hasn't been given anything close to a clean slate. Saying he shouldn't be named the starter right now isn't a knock on his talent. It's an acknowledgement of how new regimes operate. New coaches don't hand out jobs. They create competition, leverage, and accountability. Especially when a guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson's hangs over everything like a storm cloud you can't move around. Shedeur deserves a real chance, not a ceremonial one. Not a politically convenient one, but an honest competition where performance actually matters. Because what frustrates people most is that he hasn't truly been evaluated on football alone yet. And that's how narratives get louder than reality. Across the league, the pattern is always the same. Fans argue about arm strength, mechanics, and stats, while organizations quietly worry about confidence, locker room trust, and whether a quarterback can survive pressure when everything collapses. That's why Super Bowls are never decided by talent alone. They're decided by moments, by internal pressure, by how quarterbacks respond after a mistake, by whether they force hero plays or accept that sometimes the punt is the smartest decision on the field. 10 plays decide everything, not 60 minutes, and the quarterbacks who understand that rewrite their story forever. The rest become cautionary tales fans argue about years later. Asterisk now. Let's shift from speculation to execution. Because believing in quarterbacks is one thing, but winning games is another. And that's where pressure, preparation, and split-second decisions collide. Take Seattle versus New England, for example, where the numbers tell part of the story, but situational football tells the rest. Drake may have the arm, the legs, and the talent, but against a disciplined Patriots defense, talent alone won't cut it, because defenses don't just chase quarterbacks. They manipulate them, force them to reset their feet, push the pocket, disrupt timing, and in that chaos, mistakes multiply. Turnovers happen and heroes emerge, and it's the same with every Super Bowl scenario. Every quarterback is exposed. Every system tested, and every play magnified. Because 10 plays will determine the game, not the 60 minutes of hype. And within those plays, the punter, the returner, the blocker, even the decisions to kick or take a touchback become as critical as any deep pass or game-winning drive. And that's why teams obsess over matchups, personnel, and tendencies. Switching strategies mid-game, disguising coverages, moving players to create advantageous matchups. Because one misstep or one perfectly exploited weakness can swing a championship. And it's exactly why JJ McCarthy, Kyler Murray, and Shedeur Sanders will never just be judged on talent alone. They'll be measured on how they handle pressure, adversity, and the unexpected. Because in the NFL, the narrative is shaped not by preseason predictions or draft day hype, but by who rises when everything collapses. Who executes in the moments that nobody can plan for, and who makes the game look effortless when it is anything but. And the truth is that fans see touchdowns and interceptions, stats and scores, but teams see confidence, poise, adaptability, and leadership under fire. And that's why some quarterbacks, despite early struggles, become legends, while others wither under the weight of expectation. And so, as we watch the league evolve, the real conversation isn't about whether these players should start or sit. It's about whether they can survive the storm, embrace the chaos, and seize the moment when it matters most. And if you want to stay ahead of these stories, understand the true pressures behind the game, and catch the insights nobody else will tell you, hit that like button. Comment below with who you think will rise or fall next season, and subscribe so you never miss the deep dives. Because in football, the story is always bigger than the scoreboard. And now, let's talk about preparation versus instinct. Because in the NFL, the difference between a good quarterback and a great one is often measured in microseconds, in split-second decisions under pressure, and in how a player reacts when the game refuses to go according to plan. Take a high-stakes matchup like the Super Bowl, where defenses like New England's thrive, not just on speed or strength, but on anticipation, discipline, and the ability to disrupt timing on every snap, forcing quarterbacks like Drake May or Sam Darnold to make choices in real time that will echo through their careers. And those choices aren't just about arm strength or accuracy, they're about poise. Reading the field, understanding tendencies, and trusting your teammates to execute in moments where hesitation equals failure. And the same is true for every young quarterback in the league trying to prove themselves. Whether it's JJ McCarthy in Minnesota, learning to command an offense that has seen better days, Kyler Murray in Arizona, navigating the weight of expectations in a league that has repeatedly underestimated his skill set, or Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland, fighting for a starting role while the shadow of big contracts and coaching changes looms over every snap. Because in football, development doesn't happen in isolation, it happens under pressure. In games that matter, against opponents that are ready for you, and under coaches who demand perfection while knowing perfection is impossible. In every decision, from the first down to the fourth quarter, from whether to take a risk on a deep throw to whether to punt and play field position, shapes the narrative of a player's career, a team's season, and ultimately, who is remembered as a legend and who is just another name in the box score. So as fans, we obsess over stats, highlights, and big plays. But the real story is found in the moments that barely make the reel, the audibles at the line, the split-second adjustments, the mental toughness under fire. And if you want to follow these stories, understand the stakes, and see what separates ordinary players from extraordinary ones, hit that like button. Leave a comment telling me which quarterback you think will dominate next season. And subscribe so you never miss a breakdown that goes beyond the surface. Because in football, the game is bigger than the scoreboard, and the story is always unfolding. Now let's dive into the mental side of the game. Because football isn't just about strength, speed, or arm talent. It's about mindset, resilience, and how a player responds when everything goes wrong. And make no mistake, every quarterback faces that test. Whether it's JJ McCarthy staring down a blitz he didn't anticipate, Kyler Murray adjusting to a coverage scheme designed specifically to stop him. Or Shedeur Sanders trying to find rhythm while knowing every mistake is scrutinized by coaches. Fans and the media, the pressure is constant, unrelenting and unforgiving. And the difference between success and failure is often measured in the smallest asterisk. If you want more real football conversations like this, not surface-level takes, but the truth behind the decisions, make sure you like this video. Drop a comment with your take on who deserves another chance and who doesn't. And subscribe to the channel for more deep NFL breakdowns, because this story is far from over.